Hi, welcome to Life, God, and the Universe. Today's topic is on the relationship between you, your spouse, and God. Okay, one of the ways the relationship between you, your spouse, and God can be depicted is with the following diagram. Imagine the following. Okay, you have an entity here, God, okay? And we have two more entities. We have you, and we have your spouse. Now the three entities together form a triangle. Now, as you are traveling along in your spiritual journey, you're moving up the leg of this triangle here. So at some point further along, this is you here, and you are getting closer to God. Similarly, your spouse is also going through a spiritual journey, and as they get closer to God, we can depict that as follows here. They're moving up the leg of the triangle, so the two of you are getting closer to God simultaneously. Now the cool thing here is, as you're both getting closer to God, you're getting closer to each other simultaneously here. We can show that here. Okay, this looks beautiful. The question is it accurate from a biblical perspective? Okay? To answer that question, consider the following scenario. Imagine the following, okay? You and your spouse are walking into church, okay, and as you're walking into church, you say a disparaging remark to your spouse, and your spouse gets very hurt feelings from that, okay? Now you both sit down, and you are inspired by the message you're hearing, okay? And so what happens is you get closer to God. Your spouse, on the other hand, is still feeling hurt from the words you had said, the disparaging comments. Okay, so what happens with your spouse, they're not inspired by the message, they're feeling hurt. So they're down here now. Okay, so now, the relationship between you and your spouse looks like that. The distance has increased. Is this accurate? Okay. From a biblical perspective, here's the problem with this diagram. We read in 1 John chapter 4, verse 20, it says, if you claim to love God, but don't love your enemy, and don't love your neighbor, you're a liar. Okay, what that says is this picture is not accurate. It's not possible for you to get closer to God and at the same time increase the distance between you and another person, in this case you and your spouse. Okay, so what's really wrong with this diagram? And what's really wrong with this diagram is this relationship between you and your spouse, okay? We read in John, the book of John, he talks about God is love, okay? And we've talked in previous discussions here that love is connection between two people, okay? God is love. So this connection here, this relationship between you and your spouse also is God. And so that should be more accurately depicted in red here, like we did with God here. Okay? Now let's consider this. You're claiming to get closer to God, but you've increased the God distance between you and your spouse here. So this isn't accurate. Okay? That's why, unfortunately, this diagram fails. I hope you've enjoyed today's message, and as always, your comments and thoughts are welcome. And we will see you next week. Thank you.